It's time for the LowcoSports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Araj.
Hey, boys. It's Thursday night, LowcoSports Lowdown. My voice is a little raspy. I've been coaching and broadcasting and coaching some more, and the vocal cords are getting a workout. Great to be with you, boys. We took the night off last night. We didn't take the night off. We didn't have a show last night. Wes and I were both working.
It was a great night at the Cove. A perfect 2-0 evening for USCB. 2 wins over Orlando.
Sweet, baby. Sweet.
And not just a win for the men, but a dominant 20-point win at that.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, they put a beat down on them. It was pretty impressive. Especially when they were down 22-10 early.
Yep.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, yeah, it was a beat down after the first 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, that's their style. I mean, it takes them a while to get in the flow. And once they do and they get rolling, they roll. And they didn't have any let up last night. They never let Lander back in it once they got a little separation. It was good stuff. That second unit played really well. Spanos got the scoring going a little bit. You know, he's kind of fought it at the offensive end this year. Relat had some big shots. It was spread out all over the place. There wasn't no standout necessarily. It was just everybody.
No, just a really great overall team win. I mean, that's
Atwell's been great the last couple games. I got a nickname for him. I called him Gumby last night because the way he does those Euros and step backs, man.
And on top of that, the ladies with a really strong performance of their own to begin the night. Madison Self was a beast. I mean, racking up board after board, and this is what I was hoping to see from this women's team, a really strong combined effort, and they just looked like a different group out there, and they looked like a very confident team. And once they started gelling late, it was too much for the Bearcats, who had a winning record coming in, but the Sand Sharks really stayed true to what they have done well, and it was just great to see both teams really show themselves what they're capable of as we get to the back half of this conference season. I think you got to be really excited and happy for what you saw from both, and I hope you can run it back on Saturday night, prime time hoops.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, this is a good call by Libby. Janiah Hayward was the best version of Janiah Hayward.
Hayward was fantastic
last night.
Underappreciated player. We don't talk enough about what she does and how she contributes and how important it was to get her back when she missed a couple of games early on in the season. She is so important to the mojo or the flow of this team, and I feel like we've talked about Mighty. I know she doesn't want to be called that, but so
I got a couple nickname suggestions for the artist formerly known as Mighty Mouse that we came up with during the game last night. One was Jigsaw, because she was carving them up, which I kind of like. And then the other was, I don't know if you saw her as the band leader for Sweet Caroline for the student sections.
Yes.
Maestro was the other name I came up there for.
I like
Roger Federer, Maestro. That's a very well-earned nickname.
Yeah. So I like Jigsaw too. She's she carves them up. So, we may have to bounce them off her and see what Bowman says. Bowie is obviously an easy one. There's lots out there, but Jigsaw and Maestro.
I like Jigsaw. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I like Jigsaw. I'm going to lobby for that. But we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. But yeah, women won at 63-59, snapped a 7-game losing streak, got out of the cellar in the Peach Belt, assuming Aiken lost, which I think they did.
I believe they did.
And then USCB.
Georgia Southwest is going to be a tough one. They're top 4 team, I believe, in the conference. So it's going to be a big test for the ladies. Really
And then, the men blasted Lander 86-66. Couple other big notes from last night that I don't want to just breeze by. May River is going to the state championship, Class
Indeed,
4A
they are.
wrestling. They breezed through it again, 46-23 over Aiken, and they will take on Lawrence for the 4A state title on Saturday. I forget what time that match is, but it's at Dreher High School. I know that much.
I believe it's 4:00. That's what it said 2:00 in the bracket, but the website when it showed the times for high school it was at 4. So
I think they added a girls' championship in there. Maybe.
Okay. So
that
yeah,
might
they'll
have bumped
probably
everything down 2 hours, possibly. So
Yeah.
I think that might be what happened. But
Yeah, so they moved it down from 2 to 4.
Oh my! Sorry, I was just looking at the women's standings for the Peach Belt Conference. So it looked like Aiken did win last night.
Really?
They beat Flagler last night.
Wow!
Hold on, let me check.
I'll tell you, this conference, it's hard to predict.
I didn't see that.
67-59 in favor of USC Aiken over Flagler. So unfortunately, USCB is still sitting with Aiken
tied for the cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, still some work to be done. But like I said,
that was a good showing last night.
There's still a lot of hoops left. We still have 8
showing.
games left in this conference season, so there's still a lot of time. But they're gonna have to get some big time wins if they want to fight their way back in the standings and look to get that spot in the top 8 by the end of it. But hey, that's a momentum building win and one you can really build around as you get to the last couple of games in this conference
I agree.
schedule. So definitely more work to be done there. They're 2-8. Aiken's 2-8. Flagler's 4-6. So that's they play. I believe they lost to Flagler the first meeting. The next meeting will be a big one if they can hold on. Now and then before that, they have the home and home against Aiken, which honestly they should sweep that one. They should sweep those 2 games if they play to the standards that we saw. If you can take one of the. You get North Georgia North Georgia. That's a tough one. Georgia College is one that's gettable. So yeah, I mean, there's still an opportunity if you can beat Georgia College, maybe stealing from Georgia Southwestern, but also, it's going to be interesting. But we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah,
but I like the way they're playing. I mean, this is a win they needed.
They're on the up and up. I definitely think that the boys team for me last night, those first 10 minutes or so could not get a bucket if their lives depended on it, or at least a 3. Couldn't get a 3.
Yeah, couldn't buy a 3 early.
Couldn't buy a 3, man. Once they got that first 3, then they went off to the races. I was like, once they got that first 3, I was like, oh, all right, the pressure has been relieved. And they can go after it. And sure enough, they did. And they, from down 22-10 to, being tied just like that.
I think they went on a 20-3 run or something.
That sounds about right. They started smoking them for a solid 7-8 minutes, So it's just really, 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 it was really fun.
And then you could see Lander, you could see the gas, the fumes coming off of their tank. They were gassed. And they had to get deeper into their bench than they really wanted to because guys were gassing and they just ran them ragged. And that's what they do. That's what they do to people. They
really did.
The last 5 minutes of the game are hell because you're just dead.
That's part of why I think it went.
We had a friend in the green room. I just noticed he was down on the next layer of friends. But real quick before we go any further, shout out to our presenting sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm, the all-star sponsor of Lowco Sports. They've been with us since the beginning. First ever sponsor back in 2017, still supporting us. We love Mickelson Law Firm. We hope you'll call on them for all your legal needs, but they are our official real estate closing attorney. So certainly if you're closing on a home, ask your folks to use Mickelson Law Firm to close the deal and make sure it gets done right. And they love all the teams, but they love HHCA the most. They're the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage here at Lowco Sports. Thanks to Mickelson Law Firm, presenting sponsor. And now we welcome from WHHI TV, Marcus Walsh. What's up, buddy?
Gentlemen, how are we?
Tired but inspired.
I'm doing great. I like you said, Justin, last night. I mean, I was riled up heading out of the Cove because I was fired up watching both those men's and women's teams
Woo!
play. That gave me some
It was
energy.
a Ric Flair day.
Yeah. And hopefully the baseball and softball teams can keep it up coming to the weekend, including baseball getting started tomorrow. 5 o'clock first pitch, taking on Albany State, looking for that first win of the year.
Are
And
either of you three going to be there?
I will be there. I will be on the call for the Sand Shark Game Day Network tomorrow, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I will hope to be there. I think if I get done with work early, I'll be there for the second of 2 games.
So
just
one game tomorrow. Just one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One tomorrow. I am contemplating tomorrow.
I'm talking Saturday.
Okay.
But mostly
I got an invite.
Saturday. Yeah.
I got an invite to go. My dad called me, and my brother and nephew are in town for a few days. And he said, "What are you doing tomorrow? USCB's playing." And I just read an article, and he said, "Who's that guy that you work with Lowco? Is his name Jarrett?" And I said, "His name's Justin Jarrett." And my dad's I think he wrote the article. I said, "Yeah, probably."
In the Bluffton Sun.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was talking about. And
know about the JUCO bandits that we had coming to try to rescue the program.
And so I ended up, talking to my dad. I said I'd love to go, but I'm going to be in Beaufort calling basketball. He's like, "Oh, I thought you were doing that on Thursdays." I said, "No, it's a little bit of every day during the next couple of weeks." So my dad and my brother plan to go to the ball game tomorrow.
Man, I'm getting tired. Take on the atmosphere last night in the Cove. It was terrific. It was in Women's Sports Day, which was awesome. They honored all the women's
sports teams recognized, and some of the female front office or female staff, including Gina Motford, did such a great job.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, phenomenal woman. I
think we can best sum up the vibes in the Cove last night with Finnegan dancing to Usher.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't mentioned it before, that happens to be my nephew's name.
Finnegan?
Yes. Because I mentioned you got to try to get Finnegan to meet Finnegan.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen.
You get a picture of that if that young man can come down to USCB. Make that picture.
Usher, Lil Jon.
We blow it up on social media.
Got to get Kevin Libby to take a picture with him. Maybe do an interview.
Yeah. We can't talk. So it was weird last night because there was a time when I knew who was in the Finnegan costume. I saw him with Finnegan last night. It was like a Clark Kent Superman thing. I was like, hold up. You two have never been seen in the same place together. What's going on here? So, look at that man.
I'm so
look at
happy
that man shark.
Look
at that man shark.
Great stuff.
That video.
Yeah,
that was the atmosphere.
Fantastic.
It was great last night. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was good times.
Great win.
And they'll be back Saturday for night games, as Wes mentioned. Primetime games in the Cove, 5:30, 7:30 on Saturday. That's going to be a good time against Georgia Southwestern. On the high school hoops front last night. Oh, by the way, I said May River going to the 4A state championship. Bridges Prep very nearly made the 2A state finals. They lost 40-33 to Beaufort. So if they had flipped just one match, they would have been right there. So great effort from that team this year. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Again, they were ranked 20th in 2A going into the playoffs, and they end up in the Final Four. So, and nearly in the Final Two. So great job to that staff and kids. Basketball last night, Battery Creek girls got a dub, 45-30 over winless North Charleston. So that's a regional win for them. Hampton girls routed Bridges Prep by 30. JP2 girls got crossed by 14, and Patrick Henry girls smashed Thomas Hayward 54-14. On the boys' side, North Charleston beat Battery Creek by 12. Hampton County beat Bridges Prep handily, 59-34. We can check out the highlights from Beaufort's own later on, but Hampton County is looking like a tank right now. John Paul overcrossed 57-41, and I think they kind of played the subs. And Patrick Henry 64, Thomas Hayward 58 on the boys' side. So Thomas Hayward had a couple of really big wins there, and then they've taken a couple of kind of head-scratching L's. They lost to Bethesda, I think, and then they lost to Patrick Henry. So, it's hard saying they're a little inconsistent right now, but that's what we got from last night. What do you
Yeah,
know, boys?
and they'll let prep continues to roll, which I believe is a score from tonight.
Yeah, no, I haven't even mentioned that one yet. I was about to look up that final. Hilton Head Prep girls tonight routed St. John's 62-42. Courtney fouled out with 11 minutes left in the game, but she still had 28 points, 13 assists, 8 rebounds, and 9 steals.
Do it all, Courtney Campbell. Holy
Aaron
crap.
Cleary had 20. Yeah, so they rolled again. They're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty
something.
good. I think Orangeburg's pretty dang good, but I think it might be a collision course for those two. Yep.
It's starting to shape up. The teams that obviously have really elevated their game this year continue to, but we're seeing some of those teams that maybe we didn't think quite as highly of at the beginning of the year, in my opinion, really show over time that they can compete and really do some good things on the hardwood. Obviously, the season is long, but we're getting to the point now where we're looking towards playoff basketball in just a couple of weeks with the high school league and Skiza as well. It's a fun time of year, and obviously for me to be in gyms, from December until now, but finally start to get to call games when it's getting to be crunch time towards the end of the regular season, having a blast, and obviously only doing one doubleheader thus far, but have Kevin back with me tomorrow, Tuesday, and Thursday. We had to do a little flippity flop of our guests for the second quarter to join me during the guys' game. So we're going to have Misa Garzon on tomorrow night. That broadcast will air. The girls and guys will air next weekend on the WHHI Sports Weekends, and then Tony Bruin, good old Red, he's going to join me on Tuesday at Bluffton for that matchup, and still looking at a possible guest back in Beaufort for next Thursday for the second quarter for the guys game. And I decided to do this just a few years ago, just to get a little bit more outreach within the community. And Kevin was certainly willing to part for a quarter. And when I started it a few years ago, I did it in the third quarter, and then last year I thought, let's make it the second quarter, because I definitely want Kevin's analysis from watching the entire first half. So that's what we're doing, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the way again, because we've got 7-4A coverage, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And the games that we did on Thursday, JJ, are going to start airing this weekend. I think Jeremy just finished editing them today, so they'll air this weekend on WHHI Sports Weekends.
Very cool. All right. Libby wants to hear me say the soup is on when Courtney Campbell is playing in the Cove. I can probably work that in.
I managed.
He challenged me last night mid-broadcast. He gave me some song lyrics from Lady Gaga, and I managed to say, "Don't say my name, don't say my name, Alejandro."
Oh my!
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh,
I smiled so big when he texted it to me. I was like, "I'm doing this. I'm definitely doing this."
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. See that one happen. That's Kevin.
Yeah, I felt like I had a good call last night. Libby told me it was the best of my life. I can't disagree, but I don't know.
Well, I still think the North Georgia game was the best one I've seen.
I think the North Georgia game was your best.
Well, the audio quality was way better last night, though. Dr. Sawyer came over. We had an issue at the start where we weren't hot at the start of the women's game. She came over and got everything adjusted, and then it was really good.
She's
really
one
good.
of a kind with that.
Yeah, and sometimes she's not there, and it's the students, and sometimes when things go sideways, they're not sure what to do, and that's understandable. But when she's there, man, it's a pro operation, and it was it was on the money last night. We were on point, and I had great color with Rob and Red, so it was fun. It was
Listen to the last about 10 minutes of the guys' game. I was at work at the station for about as long as Jeremy Pope was. Yesterday. It was one thing after another. So I listened to about the last 10 minutes of game time of the guys with you and Red, and it was quite good.
It was fantastic.
Really was.
Yeah, it was nice. And Yeah, I'm running out of things except for signing day.
Yeah.
Wes, you made it over to Bluffton High School signing day, and I'm trying to get these videos to download. They're being weird. But you've got a bunch of
I sent them
videos.
over today, but
Yeah, I
sometimes
know it's being weird. I'm trying to download them, but they're not showing up in my reel. I don't know. But you were over there. Who all was signing today or yesterday? I guess.
they were all members of the football team, the Bluffton football team. I'll run them down for you real quick. Gavin Carrick heading to Coastal Carolina to
Nice.
join the
Nice.
Chanticleers. Big honor there, heading to a Division I school. Very solid football program over the years. Looking forward to seeing what he does over there as I pull up the rest of the names. We got Ethan Cartmel heading to Presbyterian, an excellent kicker, and he is going to be joining the Blue Hose, staying in South Carolina. Got a great interview with him, among some others. Jaden Jeffries is heading to Erskine. We got the last two both going to Limestone. Sebastian Tolfson, really underrated part that Bobcat team alongside Caleb Gadsden. They will be both Anglo Limestone. So that's it. Just those Fly-ball football players and all important pieces of this Bluffton team. And I really enjoyed what Aiden Gregory said during that signing day, just talking about these guys. It was all work ethic. I mean, these guys didn't come in being like the most highly touted prospects, or at least up to that level as a good amount of players that we've seen, but they worked their butts off. I'm trying to keep it family friendly here, and they are going to, they earn their opportunity to play at the next level, which is always so special to see for them, and just a great conversation with those five outstanding student athletes, and we wish them all the best of luck. Always such a very fun atmosphere and excitement that goes into these signing ceremonies, and thought they did it really well with how they conducted it, and five terrific players who really saw a huge growth in that program, because this was when Hayden Gregory really began to take over this program, was when these guys were just coming up, and they contributed so much to the way this program is now. So, I mean, Hayden Gregory, seeing was this his first full class? I'm trying to remember what year, was it 21 or 22 when he
Yeah, he started in 21, so
third.
Really?
yeah,
This was his third season.
Okay,
it was.
I believe it was.
This
Yeah,
was
I think
number
he had started
3.
in 22. So,
2, 23, and 24. Yeah.
yeah, so 3 years. 3 years for
I
Gregory.
guess
So
okay.
almost the first full class.
I'm
So it
sorry.
had to be 3 years.
I interviewed
Regardless,
him in 21 when he got the job. His first season was 22. You're right.
okay, that's correct. Yeah. Regardless, though,
That makes
terrific group that he was able to help mold into a fantastic young man, and guys that are going to be impactful at the college level. And so, it's got to feel good for Gregory to see what he did for these kids, and I look forward to seeing what all of them do as they get ready to take it on to the collegiate level throughout the state. And yeah, actually, are they all going to stay in South Carolina? At the Erskine Presbyterian, Coastal Carolina, and
Yeah.
Limestone College. Yeah,
Limestone's in Gaffney, right?
Gaffney. Yep.
Yeah. How about
I'll
that?
stay in South Carolina.
That's crazy.
Love seeing it.
Keister, yeah, I agree. Keister is the best G-rated way to say butt on air. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, no question.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
Backside
Hayden is just such a great leader. He communicates really well, and he demands really, really high intensity work from everybody in that organization. And that's why they continue to just really have strong seasons. Obviously, this past season didn't end the way they wanted to. Wanted to have it end, I should say, but they are a well-tuned, fine-oiled machine, and Bluffton football's been that way since I got here in 2012 for a lot of years. Not all of them, but for a lot of them.
Yeah, with the exception of a couple years here or there, they've been really pretty solid across across the timeline. But I think the crib era, those couple of years at the peak of the crib era was pretty special. But I think if Gregory stays here long enough, this program has a chance to get back to that state championship caliber level.
I agree.
He's put together. He knows what he's doing, man. And I mean, I knew that. You and I knew it the day we met him. Like his dad's done it. He knew what he was getting into, and he knew he had a plan. He knew what it needed to look like, and
he had that special look in his
he
eye
got it
too.
there pretty quick. Yeah, he got it there
He
pretty
did.
quick, and has sustained it. I mean, I felt like they were better this year than they were last year, and they lost a good bit. And I think they have a chance to be better next year than they were this year. So, I think they're doing a good thing over there. Now, I do, you always wonder if people are looking at jobs because there's always jobs out there. And I never know. I know he spent a lot of time in Georgia, but he seems to be real happy here. I mean, who doesn't want to live here? Like, honestly, it's really hard to think about leaving here to go somewhere else unless the pay's a lot more. He needs football, otherwise he'll accidentally start a cult. P.S. Are we a cult?
Uh-oh. Oh no.
The cult of Lowco. Maybe sort of, but not entirely. Like there's no religion or sex involved. So I don't think we qualify. Or money. No one's getting rich. So I don't think we don't meet any of the qualified. There's no grift involved. So how come
I zoned out for a second. I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
Wes is like, why are we talking about sex? No, Kevin Libby asked if we were in a cult, and I said there's no religion, sex involved, and nobody's getting rich, so I don't think so. But
we're getting off the rails here, fellas.
Drop the headsets.
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh boy.
3 cool guys looking for other cool guys who want to hang out with us in our party mansion. No fatties. Must be in good physical fitness. Oh Lord. So where were we? Bluffton, great signing day for them. Bunch of guys going on. I'm really happy for Gavin Carrick. I love that kid. That kid has worked really, really, really hard. And done a great job. I'm proud of that guy. And then May River had a signing day as well, and they had quite a few signing. It was today. Misa sent me some video. Aaron Guthrie signing for baseball at Columbia International. Good spot for him. Ansley Carr, cheerleader, going to Anderson. Jackson McDonald, a cross-country track guy, going to Spartanburg Methodist. Will Bostwick, we love Will Bostwick. He's going to Hampton-Sydney to play football. Nice. He was recruited by Malik Frost to Hampton-Sydney to play football. How about that?
There you go.
Bryson Hart and Will Rowley both going to Belmont Abbey to play lacrosse. I am excited about that May River lacrosse program this spring. A, they're going to be good, and B, their kits are sick. You saw them, Max.
Who?
The May River lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Their kits are dope.
Yeah, their kits are cool. I
think we're gonna.
There's a lot of spacing out going on tonight. I think
we're gonna look to have Jeremy Dyer on WHHI to talk about it here in the next few weeks, probably.
Tom Dyer.
Yes, I get them confused.
By the way, hey,
all the time.
Great to see Bo Gwynn.
I should have just said coach.
Yeah,
love that guy.
Yeah, Bo was tuning in. Here's these May River lacrosse kits. They're pretty.
Oh goodness,
that's nice.
This is Kentucky blue right here.
Yeah,
these
but
are
you saw
also
the helmets,
clean. And then
ooh man,
that's sick.
Those are fresh.
Those are dope.
Look at these though.
Oh,
Oh, those chromes are sick.
I
Nice.
love those.
My word.
Those are my favorite. I do like those ones.
The blue ones are nice too, but the chromes are
Goodness.
sick.
Sweet.
Do we know whether those are Nike or Under Armour or
They're Nike. They got the
Nike.
swoosh.
Okay. I got
May
you.
River. So it's actually a point of contention among some coaches because May River has just gone from an Under Armour school to a Nike school.
Oh,
The baseball
Sure.
program's pretty sad about the Under Armour uniforms they can't wear.
I don't blame him.
They had some dope ones.
they did.
But, I mean, those things happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure they'll get some good Nike unis, and we'll be styling on the baseball diamond.
I
and
don't love
softball diamond,
I
and all
don't
the
love
others.
the move from Under Armour to Nike. I would have stuck Under Armour personally, but when
Yeah,
you're
Under
talking
Armour's
about
pretty solid.
across the
Pretty
entire school,
Yeah.
we're Nike at Hardyville too. I wish we
And,
weren't.
in the middle of the season, like in the middle of the school year, like that's
was
something
unusable.
like that would happen during the summer and not like middle of the school year. But
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm
Maybe
waiting
it
for
did, and they just didn't get the memo until, or maybe it's happening now,
Mm.
but it's not effective. I
Yeah.
don't
I'm
know.
just gonna
But I
say,
did
I'm-
hear
I'm-
that, and
I'm ready to
then you
see
brought
those
up the
I'm
teams.
ready to see those Hardyville softball and baseball uniforms when they come in.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what they look like yet. I do want to share some really cool news though. I made a post earlier today because we have more players than we have gloves now. And Max, like the gloves we have, a bunch of them are like my kid's old gloves. So like
Yeah.
Truman's glove from 5 years ago when he was 9, and we got like a high school girl
Kind of
out there
falling
trying to catch with
apart
it.
and stuff.
And they're catching with them. Like it's awesome. But I put a post out, hey, we need gloves, and I got a bunch of people ready to donate gloves, and then people started donating money, and I bought 4 gloves so far tonight. A brand new
Nice.
first baseman's mitt for my left-handed first baseman because we ain't gonna find one of those, and 3 just standard solid run-of-the-mill 12-inch gloves. So we are not going to run out of gloves. Tomorrow we might, but by Tuesday we won't be running out of gloves anymore. So it's coming together, man. It's been fun. It's awesome to watch kids pick it up so fast.
It's great.
Yeah.
They're falling in love with the game in real time. It's awesome. And our baseball program is kind of slow getting started right now because kids are still wrestling and playing basketball. But there's been a few kids out there, and Coach Collins is pumped, so it's cool. What was I going to say? And on the donations. It's super cool. First donation came. Well, the idea of donations came from our friend Coach Beach, who said, "Why don't you just drop that Venmo and we'll just start donating money to buy gloves?" And but before Beach could even donate, OG Sand Sharks softballer, OG catcher Caitlin Vaughn, popped $80 in there. So that paid for the first base mitt. And then Coach Beach made a donation, a high school friend made a donation, and a random person I didn't know who saw the post made a donation. So we got 3 more gloves. So I'm sure we'll get more.
I know you got a lot of shares of the message as well,
Oh my
which
gosh.
is very important
Yep.
to get that message out there. And it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
It really
cool.
is.
It's cool to see what our community can do when you just put it out there, But yeah, we're whatever gloves we end up getting donated, if we can't use them, we're gonna keep them around so that when we run these clinics on the weekends, the baseball and softball clinics, anybody shows up without a glove, they leave with one, man.
Yep.
I mean, it's that simple. That's what we're gonna do with we're gonna put the right size glove on somebody's hand and send it home with them so that they have a baseball glove or a softball glove. And that can change a lot. Can change a lot.
Yeah.
Just having a glove, and if people have balls they want to donate, so we can send them home with the ball too, so they can play catch. Those things are expensive. We need all we can for training, but if you can donate extras, that we can send them home. I got a giant trash bag full of 12-inch softballs and a giant trash bag full of 11-inch softballs from Sun City. So I got plenty of balls. I'm not hurting for balls. So that's great. What else you want to talk about tonight, boys? Anything?
Just been a really busy week, and looking forward to a great weekend of sports all over the Lowco and beyond. but really looking forward to tomorrow, and seeing what USCB can do on the baseball diamond, and then a whole bunch of
Yeah,
hoops.
it's an action-packed weekend of USCB athletics. We
Oh,
got
yes.
baseball, softball, basketball, and then of course you got track and field and golf going on. I'm sure I have to look at the full schedule, but I know there's other things going on beyond the realms of the campus. But everybody, all the baseball, softball, and basketball, they're all home this weekend. So looking
Oh,
forward to spend my
crazy.
weekend at the Cove and at the ballpark.
And USCB women's golf will be at Cat Island too on Saturday.
That's right.
Yep.
And track and field is going on up at Liberty University. Like, just a bunch of stuff going on for USCB come Saturdays. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to watch some baseball and finish the night off with some basketball on Saturday. It's gonna be a great day and great night at USCB on Saturday. I did want to talk about real briefly the NBA trade deadline ended.
Oh,
Let's get to that. Let's get to that.
Hold on. Before you go there, we'll do that in our parting thoughts.
Yeah, that works.
I did just look up a score. Does anyone want to take a stab at the final score of Hilton Head Prep St. John's Christian boys?
Hilton Head Prep 82, St. John's Christian 35.
That's not far off.
I'll say
okay.
75.
I had a
30.
feeling.
It's
Yeah,
not terribly far off.
yeah. 72-41.
Not terribly far off either. 80-46.
Okay.
You probably didn't expect Hilton Head Prep to
I mean,
80.
I'm not. I don't
Harpering
think I should
had
be shocked by that.
32. 9 boards. Yeah,
32?
Harpering had 32 on 13 of 20 shooting, 5 of 9 from 3, 9 boards. Only one
Wow.
free throw with 32.
Well,
Very
that is,
efficient.
if y'all had doubts about him being the best player in the area right now, I think that's settled.
Yeah,
by
he-
the
Shouldn't
he-
have doubts
Yeah,
anymore.
doubts during I watched him play.
Whew.
Barron has 14,
32
Campbell has
freaking
12,
points.
Eanes has 10. No, he's a dog.
32.
Dang.
5 of 9 from 3 as well, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nasty. Man, I would love for the Sand Sharks to keep him home. Ooh,
No
dog.
kidding.
Oh yeah.
He
That
just
would be
makes
sick.
so much sense in that system to me. I
Do it,
mean,
Fadula.
Ollie
Do it.
Relat graduates, and you slot him in as like sort of the understudy. The
He's
next
He's the best
iteration.
possible local talent you could get at USCB. Like that's.
I mean, I know they've been to see him a couple times. They, so they like him. It's probably going to come down to what all else is out there for him. I think he's a high academic kid, so Northeastern high academic schools are an option for him. But I think he also kind of digs living in the Low Country, so I don't think it's out of the question that he could stay home.
Do it. Just
Ted
do it.
Lasso's season 4s in the NWSL. Crazy.
Yes,
I
I
haven't
saw
watched season
that.
3 yet. Season 2 was good, but also like not trending in a direction I wanted it to go. Like, if that
So
makes
I think
sense.
they're doing a whole new thing
Season 1
for
was
season
amazing.
4. I think they're gonna do like a whole new story with like a women's soccer league team, which is gonna be really. I'm excited for that actually. I do
Cool.
love Ted Lasso. I just hate that it's on
Yeah.
Apple TV and I have to pay Apple TV just
Is
so
that
I can.
is there? I know there's another season of Ted Lasso coming. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah,
said.
that's what
Season
he's
4
talking
is going
about.
to be set in the
So Wes,
NWSL.
basically,
Oh,
what
that's
they're doing-
really cool. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was true. I didn't know that was true.
Yeah,
I thought
so-
it was
yeah.
just Libby
Yeah,
saying
that's-
stuff. But yeah, that's awesome.
Really cool. So basically, Wes, what they're doing is, I think the season 4 is like the start of a new story.
I'll tell you
where-
what, that is going to give
AFC
big
Richmond's
time
adding to
exposure
it.
to that league. To have Ted Lasso, that's awesome. That's fantastic
it is.
for that league, and
It's a
really
growing
cool
league
idea.
too, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a growing
fantastic.
league.
The NWSL, I'll tell you what, a lot the women's national team gets so much support in the World Cup and the Olympics, but the NWSL deserves a lot more attention and more
If it's not-
more eyes.
Yeah, if it's not the NWSL, it might be the women's Premier
Women's
League,
Premier League, is it?
maybe.
Yeah, but because I
Being
know
that it is- being that
the
AFC
original 3 seasons. I mean, obviously the fictional AFC Richmond was obviously a Premier League They got to the Premier League. Sorry if I spoiled part of it for you, but regardless,
That's
um,
good.
yeah.
It's very
If
funny.
you haven't seen it by
Also,
now,
I
that's
think-
on you.
Hey, it's
Also,
been
I
out
think
for a
that-
couple years, so
Yeah, I also think that show opens up Americans' eyes to what the Premier League is as well, like how great soccer is in Europe.
So actually, and I think we
To a
mentioned this in the
degree, Justin.
podcast.
I
I'm
think
not
years
saying
Wrexham
ago.
it's really not.
actually.
So
does
the
more
sketch started as a promo for the Premier League when
Yeah.
NBC Premier League. It was
Yeah.
Jason Sudeikis, the guy who played Ted Lasso, but it was a promo commercial for the Premier League, and
Yeah.
that was the concept of the show was in that promo, and so eventually turned it into a show.
Yeah, because he had taken the job with Tottenham Hotspur in the promo,
Yes.
and
Yes,
and they had like the little clips of him like 3 points, and they're like, no.
Yeah, but I do like Ted Lasso. I did enjoy watching that show. It makes me
I
laugh.
loved the first season.
Yeah.
First season was great.
phenomenal.
I think the other seasons were good too. They weren't as good as season 1, but I think they were okay.
Yeah, they're still good. They're still good, but like I
I just
don't know.
hated
Sad when Nate heel.
the only thing I hated about Ted Lasso is that I had to pay extra money for Apple TV.
Oh, Apple! It's on Apple TV, so it's another
the
streaming.
next time you re-up so you can watch the new season of Ted Lasso, check out Severance because that show is.
I've heard many things.
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
I have watched a little bit of it. It is a really
It's
good show.
crazy,
Hmm.
and it's
Yeah, it's
a
really
mind,
good.
you know what? But
Anyway.
it is so good.
Yeah, that is true, Justin. It is a mine, you know what?
Oh my goodness! You'll be like,
Yeah.
whoa.
We are exhausted at this point, fellas.
I'm toast. I'm absolutely toast.
I'm a little more refreshed because I got like 2
Yeah.
crazy days of USCB athletics coming up. With pretty much an all-day affair on Saturday, which is going to be so much fun to be able to call baseball and then do the spotting for basketball. It's going to be a ton of fun. Going to have no voice by the end of the night, but hey, it's going to be good.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
All about.
I got a full day Saturday as well, man. I got rec basketball first thing in the morning all the way through the early afternoon, and then I'll be heading back to Hardyville for some good old USCB baseball at Richard Gray, and and then obviously finishing off the night watching some primetime basketball,
Yes.
which I think is great on a Saturday night, having some primetime basketball in the Cove. I think that's going to be fun. I hope we pack that place out. By the way, I did realize, so I forgot about this, but if for whatever reason USCB somehow wins out the rest of the season, which is unlikely, but because of how many tough teams they are playing, but if they win out, I'm pretty sure there's a chance they would have a home advantage throughout the playoffs.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
yeah.
yes. If they win out, I think they'll win the title. Yeah, like
because they do play. Well, yeah.
They're game behind
It
Augusta and
depends
Columbus.
because it depends on who the tiebreaker is, but that's if
They
like
would
if
be at
they win
least
out
tied.
and then because then because if Columbus State wins the rest of their games, it would be a tiebreaker situation. So they would at least have a share. They would at least have a share of the title.
But then Augusta and Columbus, one of them would have to lose, right? If they play each other again, I don't know if they do.
Yes, I think they play Augusta again as well.
Then they would just need the other one to also lose one game. So yeah, if they won out. But I think the winner is probably going to end with 3 losses, maybe even 4.
All right, so here is Columbus's remaining schedule. They have North Georgia at home on Saturday. Then they're
every game is.
I'd be happy with the top 4 spot in a home playoff game. Like I'd be thrilled with the top 4 finish.
I would love to get the 2 seed, or actually the 3 seed, because then. If you wait, is it just the first round that's at home, and then the rest is
only the first round at home? The semifinals and finals are hosted by the highest remaining seed. But if you get the 2 seed and there's an upset,
and the 1 gets knocked off, if there was semis were home too, I was going to say 3.
Here's Columbus State's remaining schedule. They do not have Augusta. They have played Augusta twice. So the remaining schedule is North Georgia, Flagler, Clayton State, Aiken, Flagler again, Lander, USCB, and then Georgia College. So there's a chance there that they're going to lose, in my opinion. At
Well,
least
I mean, there's a
one.
chance. Literally every game is
I think they could lose to Aiken.
at most
honestly.
70-30. Like, I mean,
Because they'll
every
be
one of these
that game
games
against Aiken. That game against Aiken is at Aiken. I have a feeling they could lose that game at Aiken. Like
they definitely could.
best chance
Again.
they could lose to Aiken.
Again, they could lose literally any one of these games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But
Like,
the way they've been playing is who are their two
and so
losses?
could USCB. I mean, it's just it is the
Okay,
wild.
so their only two losses came to Augusta. That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, they lost both to Augusta, so they have
Yes,
to
they
finish
did.
ahead of them.
Yeah, so they lost at Augusta,
can't
and then
finish
they lost
tied.
at home to Augusta, 76 to 69, and then
That's
79,
also
75
that
on the
would
road.
hose USCB if there was a three-way tiebreaker. That would give Augusta the edge.
But
So-
if it was a two-way, if it was a two-way tiebreaker between Columbus and USC, like say USC and Columbus State,
well, then I'm guessing it's.
I don't know what is the first tiebreaker if the head-to-head
Would it
is
be off-
Head-to-head.
what's the next
Points margin?
tiebreaker after head-to-head? Because
I don't know.
is it like
Would it be
sometimes
I would
they
think-
do is like it's how you do against the top teams, and then
Point
there's
differential.
some weird point system.
Sometimes.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
point margin. I'm thinking
That would
points
make
margin.
sense.
Well, that would make sense, but I'm not sure if that's what they do because there's sometimes there are weird
yeah.
tiebreakers.
Yeah,
for,
agreed, Wes. But I feel like that'd be the most plausible thing. Which, if
Yeah,
I'm not
would make
mistaken,
sense.
USCB
Yeah,
lost by
typing that.
how
They have
much
it on
to
there.
Columbus State?
They have it on their.
USCB lost to 99-87, so they lost by 12. So what USCB would need to beat Columbus State if they ended up in a tiebreaker and it came off a points margin between those two games? USCB would need to win by what? 13?
Yeah, I'm
They
just
would have
trying
to
to.
win by
I'm trying to look
They
and
would have
see if
to win
they
by
have.
13 over Columbus State to have the head-to-head. Well, not head-to-head, but the points margin tiebreaker. They would need to beat Columbus State at home by 13.
Yeah, I think what it is. So if you split the season series, I think it's how it's your performance against like the top team, and then it goes the next team and the next team. That's what I'm
Well-
seeing right here. So
Hold on. If that's the case,
so
USCB
for example,
are
yeah,
two
for
losses.
example, I believe so. If you're tied for first, it would be whoever had the better record against number 3 seed and then number 4 seed. I believe that's what.
So they
something
lost.
like that.
They lost by 9 to Augusta. Then they lost to Flagler by 1, and then Augusta by 12. And those are their only 3 losses in conference play. So I think if it did come down to anything, Augusta would be the next team on that list in the terms of the tiebreaker and standings. And they lost by 9 to Augusta the last time they played.
Yeah,
So,
like I said,
I would
that's
think
what
they
I think
need
it
to
is, but I don't
yeah.
have the definitive list of tiebreakers on me right now.
He's not. He is not wrong. Peach Belt is the Wild West. It gets crazy.
Yeah.
Absolute Wild West.
He is not wrong.
Alright,
That is the
let's see.
truth.
Conference.
I mean, look, it's going to be very interesting and obviously exciting as always going down the stretch towards the end of the season, and we're not overly far away from it either, from the end of the regular season, which is
We're only a few weeks away. And once you get to March,
Crazy to say,
first is
man.
the final game of the regular season, so it's about 3 weeks to go. And still a lot more
Yeah,
basketball
crazy
left.
to think about.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, we have a lot of games. We've talked about how many tough opponents they have. Pretty much their remaining opponents after Georgia Southwestern are all among the top teams in the Peach Belt Conference. So USC, Aiken, Augusta, and Columbus State. So like that's going to be very, very difficult stretch of games. But the way USCB's been playing, I have faith in that they'll win at least all. Well, I wouldn't say all because that's a tough stretch of games, but I have a feeling, there is a chance they could win all of them. But then again, it is the Peach Belt Conference. You never know what's going to happen. But I'm very hopeful, especially with this team this year and the way that they've played, especially with how they played against Lander last night, like that being down 22-10. And I know that's kind of what they do. They get down early, but they somehow, find ways to really get on a hot streak and get back into the game. And it's what they're best at doing. I mean, they did that against Flagler. Despite the loss, they did that against Flagler. They were down by 24 at most at one point. And, through the entire second half, they came back and just was on top until the very end, and just some unfortunate things that happens, but that's part of sports. And then Lander last night, down 22-10. I was like, oh, this could be interesting. And they weren't making a three. They couldn't get a three if they tried, for the first 10 minutes. And then, you get that first three and boom, they were off to the races. They just destroyed Lander through the rest of that first half and pretty much the entire second half too. I mean, it was all USCB that second half. Lander couldn't figure anything out. So I'm very excited to see where USCB sits at the end of the season. I would love to see them sit at either the 2 or the 3 seed, if I'm being honest, because I think that's where you have a best chance of potentially being able to have home advantage throughout the entire playoffs.
I can't find these dang tiebreakers.
I couldn't find them either.
I have a feeling that's a question to ask Bracken about.
Yeah, what I'm thinking, I'm just looking at other conferences, and they're with the similar ones are you go start from the top team, and it's your win percentage against the team, and if they're similar, if they're the same, you go to the next team, That's my guess, but you never know. You never know. Each conference has its own version of the tiebreaker beyond the head-to-head competition between them.
And if that's the case, for right now, Columbus State would have the edge over USCB, because the next team down on that list, if they do end up in the tiebreaker, the next team would more than likely be Augusta.
So, right. It's win percentage, not point differential, just pure win percentage.
That would be the deal breaker for USCB.
And that could change. It all depends.
No, that could definitely change. If USCB finds a way to beat Augusta big time,
right.
And I have a strong feeling that USCB would take the edge, because really,
like I said, it's still very possible. I would be thrilled if they get a top 4 seed in host state tournament game. That would be fantastic, especially
I think they
the second year of Dallas program.
I'm dreaming big.
Top 4 seed would be a tremendous season. That's all.
Yeah, I think they can, and I think they will. I really
they
do.
could lose out and it would still be a solid season at this point. It'd be disappointing.
Right.
Yeah. You know how you know it's a solid season is when you're ahead of North Georgia in the conference.
Yeah,
I do think the men play better when the women win. I really do. I think they're invested in each other, and I think they come out with different energy when the women win, and I think the building has different energy. I really do. Libby, in his piece that he wrote that I haven't edited yet, the men need energy like the tin man needs oil. They do, man. They soak it up. They love it. They love the smoke.
They do. It's always deflating. It's always deflating. It's deflating to see them walking out after a loss, because they've had some adversity this year, but to see a win on the home court like that, and I feel like that really did energize the crowd heading into that guys game, and made it even more. Just up the excitement even more, because hey, the girls won and the fellas, you got some pressure, you got to beat them as well. So I like that. I like that a lot. And that's the cool thing about having both the games in back to back, opposed to.
I'll tell you who's definitely more hyped up when the women win. That's Coach Ron. That man loved it.
He was hyped up last night.
He is fully invested in the women and the whole program and. USCB and everything. That's what you want in a coach. Man, he's the man.
That's exactly what you want in a coach. That's what you want in a coach for a men's team. And the women's team has great coaching staff as well. Like 2 great coaching staffs that are always supporting each other is what you want to see at a college, for a college basketball program, or programs, I should say, is 2 programs supporting each other, playing the same sport. That's what you want to see, and that's part of why I think USCB is growing as a basketball program as quickly as they have, at least for the men's team. The women's team, I think, when they get fully healthy, they're going to be in that running for some solid seasons as a basketball program. But I think the women's team supporting the men's team as much as they do has given the men's team the stamina and the faith and the hope that they're going to have a good season. And look how great of a season they have had this year. It's been really fun to watch.
All right, I tried to wind this thing down once. I'm going to try again and see if it happens. See if it takes this time. Shout out to some of our sponsors. Welcoming back Hudson Seafood House on the docks. Great spot on Hilton Head for seafood, cocktails, sunsets, and more. Go check them out. Beautiful, beautiful time of year to get out there to Hudson Seafood House on the docks. They're the presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode aired Wednesday night. Check it out. I still got to get it on the podcast links, but it's out there on the YouTubes. And then a few of our other sponsors, Base Hit Live, baseball and softball themed apparel. Good stuff. Max is wearing the Calm Your Mitts tonight, I believe.
He is.
Did I see that? Yeah. So if you want to look like Max, bless your heart, live your best base hit life. I'm just playing, buddy. Live your best base hit life at basehitlife.com. Dr. Ambrose Cole, official chiropractor of Loco Sports. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Congrats to the May River Sharks heading to that state championship match on Saturday. Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And Max is swaggy Max. Does it feel cool? Did it feel good to be called Coach Max yesterday at Hardyville softball practice?
I felt great.
Especially when Rayleigh said it, Coach Max.
Coach Max.
I love
that. Was pretty cool.
Dude, Rayleigh's great.
The girls said you kind of fussed at him last night, but they said, but we need it. I loved it.
If you know you need it, that's half the battle.
We weren't going
half the battle.
Yeah,
it was a weird feeling being called Coach Max. I never had that before. You know,
you're gonna get used to it. It's
I'm
nice.
gonna have to get used to it because I have a feeling I'm gonna be coaching. Hopefully,
next thing you know, you'll be turning around every time somebody says Coach.
I know, right?
Like, I turn around. I answer to Coach and Dad at this point. So,
but it's a weird feeling, but I'm definitely gonna get there. I'm gonna get used to it eventually. But yeah, we got. Softball is going to be really solid this year. I'm really liking the Hardyville baseball team. I think they're putting together.
We found one today.
Found one today, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, I found him yesterday. Well, you were here the day when Christian asked, right, about the baseball. You were in the class when Christian asked about baseball.
Was that yesterday?
Maybe. No, it was earlier than that. But he went out and worked out today, and coach said he can pitch and he can hit. So. We got a guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Dad's the best title, I think, but Coach is second best.
Kevin, you'll get there one day. Don't worry, buddy.
The only thing that makes Coach better than Dad is Dad is you get that by default when you have a child, but when you're Coach, you got to earn Coach. You don't just get it.
Yeah,
it's not free. You got to earn that one. So, parting thoughts, fellas.
Well, I was going to start. Warning. I know. Real quick, because I mentioned earlier the NBA trade deadline, obviously waited till now. Crazy deadline, obviously, probably one of the more crazier deadlines we have had in a very long time in the NBA. Obviously, Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. I saw today Brandon Ingram was traded to the Raptors from the Pelicans. Jimmy Butler goes to the Warriors from the Heat, and the Heat in exchange get, I believe, Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, and Kyle Anderson. But Dennis Schroeder got moved 3 times in 18 hours. In 18-hour span, Dennis Schroeder was traded 3 times during this trade deadline. 3 times in an 18-hour span. That is the most unreal thing I've
They
ever
should have
heard.
done that to Jimmy Butler. They should have sent him all over the damn league.
DeAndre Hunter to Cleveland as well.
You know what the craziest thing is for Jimmy Butler and all the crying and stuff that he did so far this season? What does he get when he gets to the Warriors? A new contract with a raise of $121 million. It's just, why? A 2-year deal? Really? I have a feeling after a year he's gonna be yeah, I don't want to be here anymore, and just be can I take a 6-week paid vacation and then you can decide whether to fire me or not or send me somewhere else, I feel like that's what he does these days. After a while he's just yeah, I don't want to work here anymore, boss. Can I take my 6-week paid vacation now, please?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Are the Warriors contenders now? No, they're not. They're not.
I'd love to see it. I'm a Steph Curry truther since I went to Davidson, but I don't know if they have enough there at this
Yeah.
point to
No,
establish
not
themselves.
anymore.
Establish
They're not
themselves as
there
contenders.
anymore.
But the Jimmy
I mean, they're
Butler's thing,
starting.
what a crazy situation that was. Of course, I'm waiting out with Miami and now Butler over there, just very, very weird stuff. And then, of course, the big trade on Saturday night with Doncic, Luka.
Crazy. And bless you.
Yeah,
Salud.
thank you. But yeah, the Luka trade
Yeah.
was insane. Never seen anything much like that in the past. But and then there were some other ripple effects as well. Just an absolutely crazy
Aaron Fox
deadline.
Spurs as well.
And it's hey, it just shows no players off limits, no players untouchable.
It's a business. It's a
Yeah.
business. It's
Yep.
what
It
that's
is
what
at the
that
end of the
is.
day.
The NBA is a business.
Yep.
So is every
Yep.
other league. Every other league is
league is
business.
just like that. By the way, speaking of big time sports leagues, in Major League Baseball, Pete Alonso just signed an extension
Yeah.
with the New York
Yeah.
Mets, 2 years, $54 million contract. So
Damn him.
another power bat in a lineup that has Juan Soto this year, and it could be fun. I think we could have another big time year for Pete Alonso. I think it's a great
Yeah,
decision.
screw Pete Alonso. Should have gone to the Blue Jays.
But yeah, the Mets are looking like they're going to be an interesting team,
Yeah,
and
they're gonna
certainly
do it.
a lot of eyes will be on them specifically this year. And then the other thing is just generally Major League Baseball pitchers and catchers report in 1 week, February 13th.
Yeah, that's crazy.
1 week.
That's
So
so
pitchers
crazy
and
to think
catchers
about.
report
That
spring
is
training.
nuts. The other thing I was going to add on top of that Luka Doncic trade, the Lakers, in return from getting Luka Doncic, sent their rookie sensation Dalton Knecht to the Charlotte Hornets for Mark Williams, the star center for the Charlotte Hornets this season, who's been absolutely fantastic.
Talking about stars I never heard of. I don't watch enough NBA.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just gonna say this: he was a star, but their team wasn't. They're 12
well,
and 30.
the Hornets have been that way really throughout the last decade and plus. So the last time the Hornets made the playoffs was 2016, and
how can it be that bad? Like I don't get it. Like they got such like young talent too. Like LaMelo Ball is so much fun to watch. He's a great basketball player, really good at facilitating the ball, but they just don't give anyone around him. I thought when Michael Jordan became a minority owner that this would change the Hornets' thought process. It hasn't, and it probably won't anytime soon. Like I just don't understand it. I had high hopes for that Charlotte Hornets team this year, and I'm not a Charlotte fan. I'm an Atlanta fan. We don't like Charlotte sports. But like I just said to myself, I feel like the Charlotte Hornets are gonna have a good year this year, and here they are sitting tonight.
No, you can't.
I couldn't agree more, Max.
You can't trust.
Man
at this point. It's just been.
It's wild.
Yeah, even when they've gotten like a decent lottery luck, which they haven't gotten much lottery luck in the recent years, the picks haven't really panned. I mean, LaMelo Ball's a good player, but even when they draft guys like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, he was a bust, and they've never been able to find those big time draft picks for the most part. And it's been just one of the most under performing franchises in all professional sports. I think they've only won like one playoff round in their history. It's been absolutely crazy.
You know the general manager for the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know what his name is. I think his first name is Nico something. But I read so before he was with the Dallas Mavericks, he used to work with Nike, bringing in players for their like deals and stuff like that. And he basically turned down after a while Steph Curry, and said Steph Curry wasn't a big enough player. And so
this man's had a history of bad decisions, is what you're saying.
This dude basically is a history of bad decisions. Basically said Steph Curry is not enough of a player for Nike to sign. So he ended up signing with Under Armour, and he's now running
very
his
similar
own,
when
he's now running his own brand underneath Under Armour.
Well, it's very similar with the fact that he didn't get too many offers from big time programs, ended up going to Davidson, and
that's the truth.
Yeah,
exactly
the same.
Everybody was sleeping on. Yeah, soon to be fired. Nico is
soon to be fired, indeed.
I don't understand.
He was like,
we want to win now. I don't understand. He basically said after he traded him, he was like, "Yeah, we want to win now." And I was like, Really, with Anthony Davis, someone who plays barely 53 games a year these days, gets injured all the time, and you want to win now?
Yeah.
That's your
Right.
answer?
The last sentence here from Libby is what's wrong with the Mavericks. Cuban
Yep.
sold his interest. He doesn't operate the team.
I think
anymore.
he
He doesn't
was.
control the team anymore.
I think he grew tired of it. If I'm being honest, I feel like Mark Cuban grew tired of just the pure disappointment. Every time they get close enough, they just lose.
Yeah,
Like,
I would agree with
especially in
that.
the playoffs.
Yep.
Like I'd get frustrated and disappointed if I was an owner for years and years after winning a finals with Dirk Nowitzki. They just played like crap for a few years and then finally got back to the playoffs with Luka Doncic, but couldn't come close. And then they got to the finals, lost the finals,
It's
and then
got to feel. I mean, just to trade a 20, like a mid-20s player in his prime, one of the
look
top
what he did with that.
superstars in the league. I mean,
Yeah,
this is.
but I mean,
yeah,
yeah, agreed, Wes. I'm going to say this about Mark Cuban. He may have been one of the best owners in the history of the NBA. Honestly,
I would agree with that.
He bought that team for I think $216 million or something like that, and it's now like a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
right.
Like when he first started, when he first became the owner, no one was showing up at Dallas Mavericks games. Look at them now. Like
Right.
when Luka was playing there, they sold out that place every single night, and it was one of the loudest places in the NBA these past couple seasons with Luka Doncic at the helm. I don't know what they're going to do now. Now that I never understood why they traded Luka Doncic. I know part of it was because they had concerns that he wasn't staying fit. Like I understand that, but like then change the staff around him. If they aren't helping him, then find the staff who will. Don't just trade him away and make him someone else's problem. If you want him to be the face of your franchise, don't just give him away. And that's what they did. They gave him away. Yes, they got Anthony Davis in return, but we're talking about an Anthony Davis who can't stay healthy. Like you traded someone who you thought.
Well, but neither can Doncic. Yeah, I mean that was a weird reason
healthy.
to trade him for Davis because Davis they play the same number of games roughly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, don't trade someone you know can't stay healthy for someone who can't stay healthy.
I think this is why Cuban had to get out.
Yeah.
He was so much more emotionally invested in that team on a day-to-day basis than the vast majority of owners. I think
that's what I like about owners. Like that's what I like about owners like Mark Cuban. Like another one that comes to mind for me is Arthur Blank with the Falcons. He shows up at all their games, home and away.
Yeah, but it's a much bigger grind for a basketball owner. It's 81 or 82 instead of.
Arthur Blank put everything he had towards the Atlanta Falcons, when he bought them, because he had been wanting so long to own the Atlanta Falcons. When they finally gave it to him, he was the first one to buy it, and he probably bought it.
We have by the way, if I can find the sound effect here. Yes, there we go. Score alert.
Oh,
we have some breaking news. Joshua Allen is the MVP of the National Football League.
Yeah, what a
in
shocker.
2025.
Well, that is a bit of a shocker.
All right, good for him.
No.
People were more on Lamar than him.
I will say I wasn't.
I was going to say Patrick Mahomes for a second. I would have been like, no. I do agree with you, but Lamar Jackson didn't. I think it's the playoffs that may have hurt Lamar Jackson.
Well, it's a regular season award. It's a regular season award. Most valuable player.
Yeah.
It does not account in playoffs as a regular season award.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
right.
But
a little surprised it was Allen. I didn't think that it sounded like it was going in his favor. I support it. I thought he was outstanding this year.
He was terrific.
He's not good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes, I'm afraid.
No, he's not good enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Like
you're right.
Remind everyone, it's not just Patrick Mahomes.
It's not, but at
this
the end
season
it
was.
At the end, it kind of is. Like he's the difference.
Well,
he's different.
But let me ask you a question. With the team they have right now, if Patrick Mahomes wasn't on that team, choose a quarterback. Like, if you put a quarterback on that team, do you think the quarterback would instantly be doing better than what he was with his previous team, with that Chiefs team right
Not
now?
necessarily. I mean,
Really?
I
DeAndre
don't.
Hopkins, Travis Kelce. I mean, we're
But
talking about
remember,
a lot
DeAndre
of
Hopkins just got there mid-season, and then I mean, Xavier Worthy's a rookie. Name another receiver. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's teams that have a lot more weapons on offense than they do.
Why do I feel like the Bills aren't going to get there?
Their offensive
I feel like
line
it
has
just-
been
Well, we've seen it before in their
amazing all
history.
year.
If you were a football fan in the '90s, they got there. They got the big
4 in a
one.
row.
They didn't win the big one like
This
3,
is
4
going to
years in
be
a row.
our year.
4 in a row. Didn't win any of them.
I
Yeah,
feel like Bills
was a rough
say that
stretch.
every year. I feel like the Bills say that every year, and then they're like, "This is going to be our year," and then they get so close and yet
Well,
so far
everybody
away.
says that every year.
Yeah, it's tough.
Whereas the Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, say,
We're
"Yeah,
down
this
on
is going to
boys.
be our year," and they completely blow it for an entire season.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I feel bad for the Bills. I really do. Like, I really wanted.
I feel bad for the
Jim
Bills
to
fans in particular. They're great
Yeah.
fans.
I wish to see the Bills in the Super Bowl one day, because I think Josh Allen is
It'll happen.
Yeah.
That's right. The Chiefs have Juju Smith-Schuster, who the Patriots are paying $12 million to not play for them. He's cooked,
I saw that.
but he makes plays for the Chiefs because he and Patrick Mahomes have a chemistry that goes beyond. Like, I think the Chiefs would have been like 9-7 with another quarterback this year. I really
What
do.
did I see the other day? Oh, Jimmy Butler, by the way. He's getting paid not only by the Warriors, but he's also going to still be getting paid by the Miami Heat, as well as...
That happens all the time.
Yeah, but for some reason, he's still getting paid by the Philadelphia 76ers, too.
Yeah, we don't understand all the intricacies of how when trades are made and they exchange.
Do you know how long it was since
like,
the Philadelphia 76ers had him? God, I feel like...
I wonder if Curry would know about that.
Curry might.
Curry Kirkpatrick?
Yeah.
Probably know a little something about it. But
that doesn't shock me at all.
It's like Bobby Bonilla. It's like Bobby Bonilla still getting paid like $1 million plus every year.
Yeah.
2035.
Rich Vasirico might know something about it too.
Bobby Bonilla Day is one of my favorite
That's so
holidays.
great. It's so great just to remember that this dude's been getting paid about $1 million every year for like how many years now?
All right. Well, I've been wrapping this thing up for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so I think I'm going to tell you to stop and sign off. But good show tonight, boys. Enjoyed it despite all of our cansado nature. Cansado. Let's call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow night. Busy Friday night of high school hoops as well as USCB baseball. And we'll be setting the stage for state championship wrestling match on Saturday and USCB everything on Saturday. So we got a lot going on. So you better tune in tomorrow night. And both Fish and Robbie have suggested they would like to join us tomorrow night to talk hoops and share some of their thoughts on the hoop scene. So we should have a full house tomorrow night. People popping in and out, lots to talk about. Be sure to join us. Thanks to everyone involved tonight. Thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the All-Stars. Mickelson Law Firm, always looking for new sponsors. Get in touch, info@LowcoSports.com, or find us on all the socials, or pop in here and leave a comment, whatever. We'll get you in the roster. We'll add you to the sponsor roster, get you in the lineup, and get you some at-bats. But we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks to everyone who listened or watched, and Kevin Libby for doing his thing in the comments. We appreciate you. It's like our silent producer over there. We'll see you tomorrow night. For Wes Kerr, Max Araj, and Marcus Walsh, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Loco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.